Bo Nix.
Taken right to the corner for the touchdown.
That was an outstanding series right there by the rookie quarterback.
Courtland Sutton.
He's got his receiver, touchdown. Sutton, they beat McDuffie.
RJ Harvey.
It's RJ Harvey off to the races. Harvey trying to outrun Hunter. He'll do it.
Patrick Surtain.
Minshew looking, throws intercepted by Surtain. Pat Surtain on the run.
The Denver Broncos are finally on the up. It's been a messy carousel of coach firings and bad quarterback signings, but Sean Payton and this front office are finally stringing together wins on and off the field. Bo Nix is one of the most exciting young quarterbacks in the NFL, and this defense is without a doubt the most fearsome. The swagger is back in Denver, and their AFC West rivals better watch out, because Bo Nix's Broncos are terrifying. Entering the 2024 NFL season, expectations for the Denver Broncos were low, to say the least. After a disappointing 2023 season, where it became obvious the Russell Wilson experiment had failed, many were questioning whether coach Sean Payton was past his prime as a play caller. The Broncos were forced to look to the future, and they made that clear by drafting quarterback Bo Nix from Oregon with the 12th pick in the 2024 draft. The Nix pick was seen by some as a reach, as his profile and body of work were widely regarded as worthy of just a second-round selection. But the Broncos had belief that he could be their guy going forward. Nevertheless, the fact that he had to start week 1 for a team with a roster that was dealing with all of Russell Wilson's dead cap wasn't exactly ideal. Entering the season with a rookie quarterback and few notable incoming signings, many analysts predicted the Broncos would be amongst the worst teams in the league. These predictions seemed to be justified as the Broncos dropped their first 2 games of the season, with Nix struggling, throwing 4 interceptions and no touchdowns. But in week 3, a switch was flipped as the Broncos put on an impressive performance to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 26-7. Nix was vastly improved. Despite not being able to secure his first passing touchdown, he showed great control of the game with his accuracy and ability to extend plays with his legs. He even added a rushing touchdown to open the scoring. This win ignited something in the Broncos, as they would go on to win 7 of their next 10 games before their bye week, including blowout wins against the Saints and Falcons. Nix in particular impressed during this stretch, throwing for 17 touchdowns while tossing 4 interceptions across 10 games, matching the amount he threw in his first 2. What also became clear during this portion of the season was that although Denver's star players were contributing, whether it be Courtland Sutton on the receiving end or Patrick Surtain dominating in the secondary, it was the role players stepping up that played a major role in the Broncos' success. The talent identification by Sean Payton and general manager George Paton saw the Broncos land players like safety Brandon Jones in the 2024 offseason and defensive end Zach Allen in the 2023 offseason, the latter of whom put up an all-pro season in 2024. These kind of hits became a trend for this front office. The Broncos would finish 10-7 on the season and earn a wildcard berth as the 7th seed in the AFC. Unfortunately, their season would end on wildcard weekend in Buffalo with a convincing 7-31 defeat to the Bills. Although they were outclassed in the playoffs, Broncos fans will certainly be pleased with how the season turned out and will be looking forward to 2025 with high expectations to build on their success. Nix was one of the breakout stories of the 2024 season, and his play was rewarded by being named a finalist for Offensive Rookie of the Year, which he ultimately lost to Jahdae Daniels. Nix's play far surpassed expectations, and he ultimately produced an impressive stat line of 3,775 yards, 29 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions. What was particularly impressive was his maturity in late-game situations, where he put the Broncos in a position to win late in the fourth on multiple occasions. Probably the most memorable of these late-game drives was in Week 10 against the Kansas City Chiefs, where he drove down the field for nearly 6 minutes, converting on 3rd down twice to set up the Broncos for a game-winning field goal attempt. Although the Broncos would miss the kick and fall short, it showed an impressive resolve from the rookie QB. Going into the 2025 offseason, the Broncos looked in good shape, as they had a projected cap space of $55 million and plenty of picks in the draft to improve upon their existing roster. They were busy in free agency, with some clear needs to address. One of the key positions that the Broncos needed to improve was tight end, and they did so by signing veteran Evan Engram to a 2-year, $23 million deal. Engram will provide experience and leadership to the Broncos offense and will be a very useful target for Nix as he develops. Although Engram had a weaker 2024 season, he did so while dealing with injuries and as part of a Jaguars team that was not particularly efficient offensively. Payton and company will hope that he manages to turn things around in 2025. The legendary head coach has had a long track record of success with his tight ends, and one would hope that he is able to replicate that with Engram healthy. Having not had a top-tier tight end to work with in Denver yet makes this move one with mouth-watering potential if things go right. The other headliner signing for Denver was linebacker Dre Greenlaw, who will also add some experience for the defensive unit. Greenlaw has been very consistent as part of one of the better defenses in football for the past few seasons in San Francisco, but he is also coming off an injury-riddled season and hoping to return to his best in 2025. Joining Greenlaw on the flight from San Francisco was his teammate for the Niners, Talanoa Hufanga, a superb safety who also happens to be coming off an injury. Hufanga at his best is a top-tier playmaker and former All-Pro, but has also seen his share of bad luck with injury over the past few years. If Hufanga can stay healthy, his addition makes this Broncos secondary even scarier than they already are and would make them a slam dunk for the best in the league. Finally, Denver have also added depth to the defensive line with the signing of DJ Jones, as well as improving their special teams by adding Trent Sherfield Jr. Entering the 2025 draft, the most pressing needs for the Broncos were adding some weapons on offense at running back, receiver, and tight end, as well as adding some depth to their defensive unit. With their first-round pick in the draft, though, Denver would ultimately select cornerback Jahdae Barron out of Texas, adding a highly talented defensive back to what is an already top-tier unit. While in college, Barron established himself as one of the best corners in the country, winning the Jim Thorpe Award in 2024. Barron has an impressive football IQ, being used in a number of different coverages at both corner and safety, as well as the athleticism to match, giving him a pro-ready package that should see him adapt to the NFL quickly. He led the SEC in interceptions in his final college season, and he has proven himself to be a ball hawk. Pairing Barron with Surtain is an ideal situation, as the former can learn from the latter, and if Barron develops his game, this duo should make for one of the most feared in the league. His addition to a defensive unit that ranked 9th in the league per PFF should see the Broncos become even more stout on that side of the field in 2025. With the Broncos' second-round pick, they selected running back Harvey from UCF, a selection intended to address their needs in the backfield. Harvey is a former quarterback turned running back who is one of the most consistent backfield weapons in the country for the past 2 seasons, with only 3 players having more yards on the ground than him in that period, one of whom was Ashton Genty. Harvey will provide elusiveness and the potential for big plays. He'll make defenders miss with the combination of his burst of speed and lateral quickness. Although he lacks some size and has questionable abilities to contribute in pass blocking, this pick could be seen as a stroke of genius in years to come if he can be productive and add points to this Bronco offense. The Broncos also selected receiver Pat Bryant from Illinois, who is a 3-year starter in college and has a proven track record of reliable hands and highlight reel plays. He should be competing for a starting position as the receiver 2 in the offense, although he will likely need to develop some aspects of his game to prove he can be a consistent producer at the pro level. Further down the draft, the Broncos also selected edge rusher Savion Jones of LSU and Q Robinson of Alabama, who will likely be depth additions to the defense. They also added punter Jeremy Crenshaw and tight end Caleb Lohner. Overall, the Broncos should feel pretty happy with their haul, bringing in weapons at a range of positions who can contribute now and well into the future. Coming off the back of a surprisingly strong 2024 season and the emergence of Bo Nix as a legit QB1, the Broncos will look to build on their success and make a push towards progressing even further in the playoffs in 2025. Their already great defense should be even better, and they've made some key improvements that should also see the offense flourish. They have the 15th toughest schedule in the league according to Caesars Sportsbook, which is similar to last season. This should give them a good chance to improve on their record and make a legit push for the playoffs. Nix will have to evolve, and the Broncos will need to see production from their many weapons on offense such as Courtland Sutton, Engram, and their draft picks. With Sean Payton now having a year of experience with Bo Nix under his belt, we should expect big things to come. The Broncos should go from one of the biggest surprises in 2024 to one of the main contenders out of the AFC in 2025. The improvements they've made on both sides of the ball are really that good. The question is, can they explode and pose a real threat to the dominance of the Chiefs, Ravens, and Bills? We certainly think they are terrifying. What about you? Let us know in the comments.